Actually, that's not true.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, everyone. Happy Monday.
Woo.
President's Day.
President's Day, and February's almost over. Isn't that crazy?
It's nuts.
I hate to tell you.
We're celebrating today with a little sparkling champagne. We decided to kind of get a little bit more luxurious today.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Who doesn't love
It's Monday.
bubbles? Yeah,
that's right.
It's Monday and it's a holiday, so we're being very festive.
Mm-hmm. It's the weekend after Valentine's Day. So today we are talking on the show. We're talking about re-entering the workforce. So if you've had to take care of a parent, if you've been staying home with your kids, if you got laid off and it's been an extended period of time because you're just like, I don't know what to do or whatever. I mean, there's so many things that happen, right? And so that's what we are talking about with our guest, Rita Kakati Shah. She's incredible, but she has all kinds of tips. But I was thinking, I have a friend who was working in the same industry for years and years and years. He did get laid off. His company did a downsize, and so they laid off a lot of people, if not most of the people. And he never liked the job. But he wouldn't switch, even though I'm like, okay, you got to change. If you don't like it, go find someone else.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Here's what I find with my clients or with friends who are in a situation where they need to make a change. So either where they're going back to work, their kids have grown up and now it's time for them to go back to work, or their husband or their spouse lost their job, or they just want to switch.
Yeah.
Usually what scares them the most is the fear of the unknown.
Oh, 100%. How many of you guys, even if you're watching the replay, how many of you can say, yes, that fear is real and I have it? Like,
yeah,
we all do.
We all do. And so here is Rita's going to talk about a number of things, your resume and other tips. But one thing that I talk to my clients about is writing down what your fear is. What's the biggest fear that you're worried about? Are you worried about someone asking you why you've been out of the workforce? Are you worried about someone asking you why you were laid off? Are you worried? what are the other fears? Are you worried that you don't have the right outfit to wear? That your age is now an issue, or that you don't
Which
know?
Is a big one.
Yeah, or that you've just kind of been out for so long that you haven't kept up on trends. Whatever it is, write it out, and then write out solutions and just kind of brainstorm.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us can relate to all of those, but I want to say the trends one I think is a big one when it comes to tech, right? Like, I'm the techie and I'm in this world all day long and trying to keep up and ahead of the curve, right? But I realize that most business owners are not, right? I know you're not, and that's okay. That's not your job to do that. That's mine. But we have to remember that it's the trends that I think really hold us back, the fear of technology and not, knowing what we don't know, right? Like, you just got a new phone.
Oh my gosh, yes. I finally got a new phone. So this is my new phone. It's I don't know, what are this? It's 11 something. Yeah. And I had the 6S. So it's a big change. But, there's just so many things that go on with changing. We couldn't even get in this building because I hadn't downloaded all the software that I needed to get in and blah, blah, blah. But really, it's we make things too hard, and then we sit on it and we immerse ourselves in the fear.
Yes.
And it builds and builds and builds.
Oh, yeah.
And this is with anything. It's not just whether you've been working or not working. It's in everything. And so that is what I work with my clients. It's like, okay, let's break it down. And once you see it and you face it, it's not as scary. It really, it takes it. You get a little bit of control back, a lot of control back.
Yeah.
And then you can decide, you know what? I never even liked that job or that career. It's time for me to change. And now I want to go into this. And so then you write down what you're going to do. And it's an empowering feeling, and it's actually exciting. So.
Oh yeah. And you mentioned a key point is writing it down. Mm-hmm. Really writing it down. And I want to challenge you guys. You probably see me moving around on the side here. I'm working on the Facebook and controlling the tech part while we're live before we jump into the episode. But even if you're watching the replay, I want to challenge you to write it down, but comment. Like, when you can physically write this stuff down later, But while you're here and you're watching and you're paying attention, comment, because that allows you to take what you're learning, process it, and then put it back out there, so that way it's actually being implemented right away. Like if we say something that resonates with you, if you pick up on a tip from our episodes, like write it down right away in the comments, so then that way we know that you're there. But that way you also have already declared it once, so then when you go back later to look at it, you can quickly find it, as well as when you go back to write it again on pen and paper, you'll also know, like, hey, this is familiar. I remember doing this somewhere.
And I'm glad you said, because the other thing that happens is that it's in your subconscious brain.
Yes.
So what happens is when you're taking a shower in the middle of the night, solutions start coming because you set it in the back of your mind. So if you do write it down in comments, is a great place to do it, because there's probably other people who are like, oh my gosh, thank God I'm not the only one.
Yes,
right?
And think of it like this: when you go to a friend's house for dinner or something, and the dinner's ready, when they say, "Go ahead, go get it," well, who wants to be first, right? Most people are thinking, "Oh, I'm going to wait for that first person."
Right, I'm starving. I hope someone moves really quickly.
Yeah.
But
So be that first person, because once you do that, everyone else can then breathe and be like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense. I'm going to do this. I'm going to put myself out there."
Yeah,
because that's what it's all about.
So we're talking about that. We're also talking about events. How many times have you gone to an event? Maybe it was where you had to travel, you had to fly somewhere, and it's supposed to be this great event, and you are excited, and you come home, and you're like,
You're like,
nothing. Nothing happens. 6 months later, nothing happens, right?
Yeah.
Or it can be a local event, whatever it is. So there's tips that we talk about today in the show to help you get the most out of it, because there's nothing worse than when you come back from an event and you're fired up, you met some cool people, you got great ideas, and you're going to take your company to this whole new level, and then silence, nothing happens. So there are techniques. There's a lot of techniques that you can use starting from before you go.
And I will say, I have used this technique, one of these techniques, before I went to a major conference last year. And I will say it was a game changer. It helped me walk into the conference knowing what I was going to do. And I walked away and I actually implemented. And this was a conference that I actually paid money for, that I flew, that I had all the travel expenses. And it was so worth it because I had put these things into place prior to. So really make sure that you pay attention to this episode and let us know what's one thing you're going to implement, one thing that you're going to take away from this episode and implement, and declare that in the comments, because that's the biggest thing, is really understanding it's not just about consuming, it's about consuming and how are you going to implement. Yeah. And setting that expectation.
Right. And if you have other tips, we would love to see them. Yeah. Because we know we don't know it all, right? Yes. And so I love hearing from people, through social media or wherever. Yeah. What's worked for you as far as any of the things that we're talking about. So re-entering the workforce, or with going to events, especially, some people are shy, and the whole concept of, oh my God, I got to do this event and I'm supposed to talk to people. It's scary for a lot of people, even for me. I talk all the time.
Yeah, I
but it is
always
awkward.
fearful. Always fearful. It may not seem like that on live. Live has changed me online, but still in person, I'm still really a shy guy.
You've come so far now. So far. But my kindergarten teacher, did I already say this? But my kindergarten teacher wrote a letter home to my mom saying, does Midori talk? That's how shy I was.
Really?
Yep. Yeah,
wow.
I was painfully shy.
And look how far we've come. We're now online to everyone.
And now I can't shut up. Ask my husband.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we have a great show. We're also talking about, we got to start. Let's start.
Yeah.
Come on over to the comments. Talk with us.
We're jumping in. So here we go. All right, guys.
Welcome to another episode of the Moms Life Show. I'm your host, Midori Verity, And we are all about talking about how to create a mindset so that success and prosperity become easier and start flowing to you. Today, our show, I am so excited about who we have. We have a woman named Rita Kakati Shaw, and she's the founder of a company called Uma. She is going to be showing us how to re-enter the workforce. If we've taken a break to take care of our family, our kids, health, anything, she is going to show us how to do it gracefully. And then to support that, our very own biz technologist, Ed Troxel, is going to be talking about digital resumes. It is genius. You want to be hearing that. But before we get to all of that, we're going to be talking about mindsets. So come on along. Get out your paper and pen and let's go. How many of you have gone to events where you're like, wow, these speakers are amazing, and you get all this, you get papers filled of notes, and you go home 6 months later and nothing changes. Nothing progresses in your career or in your life. That is what we were talking about today, because I'm so frustrated with when that happens. So there's a few things that you want to do so that you can be more successful 6 months from now after you go to your next event. One is writing out the goals that you want. Know what the event's about, of course, and who the speakers are, and be very, very methodical and clear on what the goals are that you want to achieve. Maybe it's going and networking. Maybe it's going and finding out how to create a new message. Maybe it's going and figuring out how do I fund this business. Whatever it is, know what it is and who you need to talk to. So write out your goal before you go. Number 2 is at the end of every night, look at what your goals are and how close you've gotten to achieving those. Have you achieved them already? So now you can kind of chill, or do you need to go back the next day and meet these certain people, or follow up, or ask different questions? Be clear. And at the very end of it, this is key. You want to write out your plan of action. So take what you've learned, take what your goal is, write out, promise yourself what you're going to do when you get home to help take your business or your life, whatever you went for, to the next level. Make sense? All right, I want to hear what you guys do at your next event and how these tips have helped you. I am so excited because we are here with the stunning woman, Rita Kakati Shaw, who's founded a company called Uma. So for all of you who have been out of the workforce for a while, she has the answers on how to get back. Because I know for me, it was a little awkward in the very beginning. And I have a lot of women coming to me just saying, I feel that I have lost my skills, that I can't compete anymore. Talk to us a little bit about this, Rita. What are some of the biggest fears that you hear from women who are re-entering the workforce?
So some of the biggest fears is what you do with that gap on your resume. I had that myself, my own personal experience. You've taken some time to do whatever it is, so in the military, looked after children, caregivers, your family, whatever it is, but how do you fill that gap? So that's one of the main things that we focus on to do.
Okay, great. And so tell us some of the ways, what are some of the ways that we can do that? What are things that we can write on the resume so that it doesn't look, it's not a red flag? And let me just back up for a second, because by saying that we have children, sometimes that can be a stigma on us, right? Because often as a female, we're just talking facts, so I just get straight to the point. It can be a concern for some employers that we're going to need to leave and go take care of our little kids and take more time off and do other things. So can you address that?
So it's not only that. According to Harvard Business Review, you're 50% less likely to even be called for a job interview if you have a career break in your resume, and the reason is motherhood, compared to if you've been let go. So you're better off telling someone, you know what, my company went through restructuring and things moved on, rather than, you know what, I took some time off to raise my family. And that's unfortunately the reality, the bias that exists. So knowing that, what can we do about it? So first things is there shouldn't be a gap on your resume. There should be a chronological order of what you've done. Because naturally, if there's a gap, people are going to ask you about it. So some of the things you can start it out with is, what have you done during this, as you call it, time off? it's not really time off. We all know, I know that motherhood was the hardest. I worked my entire year. I was an investment banker. I was a pharmaceutical executive. Nothing trumps being motherhood. It's 24/7 on steroids. So there are definitely skills that you pick up being a mother that you arguably can't even pick up in a professional setting. You know, the art of negotiation. I tell everyone, if you can negotiate with a toddler, there's not a single person you can't take out on this planet. Take that to a boardroom when you're next going to go interview, you know. And there's so many other things. Patience, juggling many multiple activities, school pickups, drop-offs. You can never take a sick day. You're just always getting organized and doing things. These are real skills that can absolutely come out. So there are absolutely things you can fill out your resume with. And, you know, whether you've worked professionally, you might have done a consulting gig, you might have started your own company, done something in the background, you might have worked in your school's PA, your parents' association, done voluntary activities. On your resume, nobody asks you, is it paid or is it unpaid? It's
good point.
Work, and that's what should go on there.
Yes, good point. Okay, so with a resume also, you don't need to have dates. Is that right? Is that still the way that it is?
I always recommend you do put some sort of dates on there. Okay. What you're referring to is necessarily dates of education to give away your age. Because that's something that exists ageism. What I think people like to know your longevity in a job. Can you keep a job for longer than a couple of weeks, a couple of months, a couple of years, whatever it is? It depends on your industry. Finance, for example, law, some of the other industries out there, they do actually like just to see how long you've been in a certain company for. It shows can you kind of can you commit to something? Can you sustain that sort of a job?
Okay.
Keep them in chronological order.
Makes sense. Okay, thank you. What about for a person who hasn't worked in a while? Maybe it's been they've taken 5 years off or something. It's all relative. And they're thinking, okay, now what? Do I go to Craigslist? Do I call a headhunter? What are some ways for them to find positions?
Kuruma.
There you go. Okay.
So that's actually a really good question. Before we even get to the job search part, we go through what we call a self-discovery journey. Part of the workshops we do is about building up confidence, finding out who we are, what makes us who we are. Quite often we find returnees going back to work, and it's very natural to think, okay, I used to be a lawyer, or I came from a finance background. That's what I want to go back to. But is it? What is your passion now? What is right for you now? So that's the first thing we do. I mean, think of your journey. I think of my own. Where were we 5, 10, 15 years ago? You know, sometimes we might be studying, we might be at university, then you have your first job, then some people choose to get married, then some people choose to have a child. So you're wearing different hats in each of these phases of your life. So it's very important to know which phase are you in now, and what's your priority? What is your passion that drives you? And then use that passion to determine, okay, that's what I'm going to be looking to do. Do I want another full-time salary job? Do I want a part-time gig? Do I want to completely change industries and find something else I want to do? This is the best time. I call it blessing, actually, where you have time. You know, what do I want to do? Let's start on the drawing board again.
I love that because it can be something that's exciting and fun again, right? So it doesn't have to be.
It is fun. I mean, it is daunting, absolutely. It is a time you think, oh my gosh, there's so much going on, but treat it as this is a time when you can decide for yourself. You know you have a lot of skills. You know you have a lot of things backing you up, but you have that inner confidence. You did this once upon a time. You know you can do this again.
Right. So it's just getting that mental part. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the mindset that you have seen work with your clients as well as yourself to help you persevere when you're feeling insecure or entering this whole new world again.
So a couple of things. I think before you do decide to venture in, congratulations when you're thinking of going into a new form of whatever it is. It's a big, big step to do that. So that's the first pat on the back. Secondly, really think about why is the reason that you want to do something. What is your driving force? What is that motivator? That is your passion that drives you. If you remember that passion, that is ultimately what gets you through. I'll give you an example. I'm an entrepreneur. I started my own business. And to me, I had 2 children, and it's like my third child. Except it's not potty trained and it doesn't use the night. So that's just another way of looking at it. But what drives me It's the fact that I'm very passionate about what I'm doing. I'm trying to empower women. I'm trying to change the needle of how jobs are done. I'm trying to change companies and their mentality. That is a driving force for me. Knowing that if I persevere, I'm resilient, I can take knockbacks, I'm unstoppable. That is a message that we all have inside of us. It is there. It is finding and remembering that passion. What is that fuel that drew you in the first place to do what you're doing? Remember that.
What a great tip. Thinking bigger and thinking about that passion, because we know when it gets challenging, if you don't have that passion behind you, we've talked about this before on the show, it is very easy to stumble and get caught up in the challenges and the obstacles that occur for all of us. So thank you for sharing that. So Rita, I know there's a lot of women who want to know more about you and get in touch with you. Where can they reach you?
So we have a website. It's www.bebold.com. That's BEBOLDBEUMA.com. Or you can send us an email, which is info@bebold.com.
Perfect. So as you know, in case you didn't have a pencil to write all that down, just go to themoxlife.com, find Rita's show, and that will be in the show notes. Thank you so much for being here with Rita. Great with us. It was great information, and we appreciate you sharing us some tools in our pocket to help us get back at it. All right, Ed.
Yes.
Digital resumes. Tell us about this. What is this all about?
So, you know me, I love bringing the tech into everything, and I'm not one to keep papers around. And, I'd rather just snap a photo or send a link and call it a day. And so, when you are working on a resume, as we learned earlier in this episode, and you want to fill those gaps, and you just really want to have something to work with, you can, of course, start with pen and paper. That's easy, no tech involved. Then you can get into your social profiles like LinkedIn. A lot of people love to use LinkedIn as a resume. That's fine. It is not your end game, though. What you want to do is you want to take it to the next level and use a program that's called visualcv.com.
Okay.
So,
like visual C cover the video.
Yes.
Okay.
So visualcv.com is an online program that you can access anywhere you have an internet connection, and you can digitally build your resume, and they have templates for you, which is awesome.
Oh, to make it look professional?
Yes. And what's cool about it is that you can build out your whole resume there. You can even include photos, videos, links, all right there.
Oh, this is huge, because depending on what you're doing, if you are a speaker or if you are you have a portfolio, having all of that is so important.
It's a great way to have everything in one document and make it more interactive. Now it's becoming entertaining, because when somebody's watching it or wanting to click through, it's giving you personality. It's no longer just words on a page. Yeah. And so this program allows you to do that. What's also cool about it is you can download it as a PDF. You can send it as a link to somebody so they can click on it, just like your digital business cards we talked about on a previous episode. It's a really fun program and easy to use. And also, it has great resources. At the very bottom of the page, they have support documents, not only for how to use the program, but how to work on a resume and just learning more about.
Which is perfect, because if you've been out of the loop for a while, as we talked about earlier, trends change.
Oh, big time, like snaps.
Yeah. From when I had to have a resume a million years ago,
yep.
It's totally different. And so I love that it has that there, so you can have some tools.
Yeah, so even if you're not ready to work on your resume just yet, or maybe you have a program you're good with, utilize this website so that you can look at the resources and what they are offering just in general, because it's going to help you with making sure your resume is up to date and really stands out among the crowd.
Love it. Yeah. Love it. I'm going to go try it.
Anybody hungry out there? Because I have something that's going to satisfy your sweet tooth and
your lard tooth.
What is chicken craving? It's like fried. I have something that's going to satisfy not only your sweet tooth, but also your fried chicken tooth. That's right.
We all have one. Let's be honest.
So there's this whole bidding war, if you will, going on between the food chains, the fast food chains.
Yeah.
And Popeyes came out with their chicken sandwich. That was a huge hit. And so everyone and their mother who has a fast food chain, is trying to compete and jump in really on the social media bandwagon because it's free press.
Totally.
Everyone wants it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so they've been selling out, and it's not available in certain places and all of that.
Wow.
So KFC decided that they should take it to the next level and get in on this because why not? Free press, right? And they're being creative, and they created the fried chicken donut sandwich. So let me just share with you that it is 2 glazed donuts with a fried piece of chicken in between. And they're only testing it in a few locations to see how well it does. But they're getting all this free publicity because why? It's different. It's standing out. It's not just another chicken sandwich. It's not a chicken wrap. It's something
totally
so crazy
and disgusting. We're talking about it.
Exactly.
Right? And I mean, they should really tie in with a hospital or a doctor, cardiologist. They should have some kind of, I can think of all kinds of business things for them.
Oh, yeah.
Because who eats that?
Well, I will say, I am a health nut, but I do like a good fried piece of chicken. Not from KFC. Don't tell me about KFC because I'm not a fast food person. But I will say that I was not mad at the picture when I saw it.
Oh, it looked
And
totally
that
scrumptious.
I wouldn't mind having at least a bite because of the sweet savory thing.
Yes.
I know because I love chicken and waffles, I know that would probably be just a nice little treat.
And I have to say, donuts are my favorite thing in the whole world. When I do go to heaven someday, it's going to be filled with donuts.
And here's the thing, too. We have to think about this. We're talking about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not just about the donuts. It's not just about the chicken sandwich. It's not about KFC. It's about curiosity marketing. That's what we call it in the business world.
Yes.
And it's that part of it's so crazy that I need to try it. I need to see it. I need to understand what's behind this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just curious. And that's what gets people talking. That's what sells. And then that's where you figure out if it's something that you want or not.
Gosh, so I'm just trying to think, okay, what can I do in my business or your business or even with the show that would create that type of curiosity?
Yeah, it's true. And that's where we can use TikTok to play with filters. Because again, we may not be very creative in the content that we have or that we want, but if we use tools that are available to us like TikTok or like any other photo editing apps or social media apps, we can get a little bit more creative without having to spend a ton of money, to be honest.
Or make something that really is not good for society.
Yeah.
I love that. Great story. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. So what do you got?
Okay, so I was on the internet and I was just kind of doing a little searching and this came up. So you tell me what you think.
Okay, I will.
How much, I'm talking to everybody, how much could you make with $5 in 2 hours? So you got to get creative. You got to think about this. So this is a question that a woman named Tina Selig presented to her students. And she's the executive director of the Stanford Technology Ventures Program. So I love this.
Yeah.
And so the students got really creative. So remember, it is $5 and you have 2 hours. Here's the key. So I have to read this because it's important to know this. There's 14 teams altogether,
okay.
And they were told that the 2 hours started once they cracked open the envelope.
Okay.
That's kind of key. What they noticed, what would you do?
What was it? Oh, I already have an idea, but what was in the envelope? The
$5.
$5. And you have to spend it, or it's just that's your total that you
That's your budget. That's your full amount that you could spend.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I would have my phone, I would go on Facebook Live, and I would start saying, if you want a business tip, if you want help with marketing or social media, then $5.
I like it.
Consulting. That's
$5. It's
easy.
just like, and that's a step up from Charlie Brown.
Yep.
He charged 5 cents, or I think Lucy did for kisses or something like that. So that's the new.
And here's the thing: you could do 1 tip for $5, and if you want to upsell and you want to stay on for 4 tips or 5 tips, then you go $20, $30, $50.
There you go.
Done. Call it
okay. So, but let me tell you, you want to know what was most successful?
I do.
The people who never opened the envelope. And here's why.
See, and that's who I would be. I would be the one not opening it.
Yes.
Because why do you need it?
because they, instead of focusing on, okay, we have $5, it's taking your mind off of the big task and the creativity. Yes, you are focusing, okay, well, we have only $5, and so instead, the people who are most successful never opened it and forgot about that. They taught about how to get creative with nothing. Smart. And make money. So one group, they went and they noticed there was a problem with restaurants and getting a reservation. So they went to the most popular restaurants and they got in line early. They got a table, or no, this was even without a table. They got one of those buzzers.
Oh, yeah.
And they knew that for most people there who came later, they'd have to wait 30 to 45 minutes.
Right.
So for a fee, they will give you their buzzers that you could get in earlier, and people will give them $20.
Yeah.
Or standing in line, they did the same concept, $20, and they made $600.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what it is. It's all about thinking outside the box, and that's why I went in. That's why I was like, well, what's an envelope? Like I was thinking, is it a requirement that I have to open the envelope? Because I would just be like, all right, cool, let's go. I got all of you guys. Let's go right now.
And so, what I loved about that story was it's easy for us, I'm so guilty, to get sucked up with little details that maybe are not important.
Yeah.
And so really kind of thinking about getting outside of the box and thinking about the big thing that you're trying to accomplish.
Right.
And getting super creative.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
you don't need the $5.
There's a lot that we can learn from the youth. Let me just tell you that. Like a lot, because we get in our own way and they don't. They'll tell you how it is and they'll use their creativity because they're not bombarded with all the stuff that we are. So I love that story.
Yeah, I think it's great. So let us know if you come up with creative ideas. Also, a lot of you, many of us, are starting a new business or are on a very tight budget. Think of new ways that you can do it if you had no money and that was not a hindrance for you. So let us know. We'd love to hear your stories and share them.
Definitely.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Mox Life Show, and you have a full book of notes. We talked about how to re-enter the workforce. So even if it's not for you, maybe you can share some tips with a friend or a family member who has been out of the workforce for a while and their confidence is a little low and they don't know what to do yet. And then, of course, Ed helps us out with digital resumes. So regardless of whether you've been out of the workforce or not, it is always wise to keep up on your resume. So Ed gave us some great ideas on how to do that. And then, of course, we talked about events and how to go to your next event and feel good 6 months from then so that you know that your investment of time and money was well worth it. All right. So let me know how all that goes for you. As always, I want to thank Collabs for offering us this beautiful place to do our shows. And of course, remember the gratitude attitude. Regardless of how you feel in the morning and you just want to climb into bed and stay there, pull those covers over. While you're having those covers over, you think of those 3 things that you're grateful for. Then take those covers back off of you and watch how your mindset changes and how you're able to approach your day in a much more positive way.
What do you guys think? That was awesome. I love watching that.
Right? I hope you got some little tools in your pocket for so many things.
Yeah.
Getting back into the workforce and
the conference tips. Those are golden.
Those are golden. And it can be for anything.
Yeah.
It can be for so many different things. And then, of course, your digital resumes. I have one now.
Yeah,
I have been self-employed for 3 decades. 3 decades. But I still think it's good to have it because I have used it to apply for speaking events and to get me kind of organized.
When it keeps you in the know. Remember, we talked about at the beginning about staying up with trends and how it's very challenging for a lot of us. This is something that we have to remember is that a resume, we're always going to need it. Even if we're self-employed, we're still going to need it for something. And so being able to stay up with the technology and keep those updated. I mean, how many of you guys are trying to update your LinkedIn profile and keep that up to date, right? I mean, a lot of people use that as their digital resume. So understand that it's all part of the process, and it's still something that we should all be paying attention to because we don't want to make it that one time where we need it and we're freaking out because we haven't been doing it for
And it's so
10 or 20 years.
daunting. Yeah, and I did see a couple of the people that were on the live, and I know who you are. And
We see you. We see you.
And so some of the people that I saw, I know are looking at kind of phasing out of working and going into their their shining glory
Yeah.
of retirement. But you may get bored.
Yeah.
So
I know so many people
Right?
that have retired that work more now than they
Ugh.
did when they were in their regular job. So you definitely going to need some of these things.
yeah,
to
I mean,
apply.
who knows? And it could be for volunteer positions.
Yep.
It could be getting into, I'm on a board, nonprofit. I don't get paid, but still they want to know what my skills are.
Oh yeah,
And so it can be used for so many different things.
it was fun, and I mean, let's face it. How many of you guys now are ready for that fried chicken or donut or maybe
Gross.
both?
No. Or cardiologist.
Yeah.
How about that?
Just add that to the list.
Oh my gosh, that was the most disgusting thing I've ever heard of.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
But I still want a donut.
Yeah, I know.
So we have our champagne to keep us healthy.
There you go.
I will say this,
Bubbles.
just getting back to the bubbles. I did hear from a man that champagne or sparkling is healthy for you. It's healthy for your brain and also healthy for
Digestive system.
your heart. I don't know. Let's make it up.
I
Your
was gonna
heart
say,
and your
the bubbles help, with your digestive system and opens up
right.
everything.
Yes, it's like a probiotic.
There you go.
Heard it here.
Yeah.
Health tips.
See, you thought you
Don't
were just going to
tell
get
anybody.
business.
Yeah.
We give you health tips too.
That's right. That's right. I feel smarter because I've almost drinking this whole glass. I'm going to pour some more.
So much fun. See, this is what we love about being able to do the live show with you guys, even if you're watching the replay. Still tune in, drop your comments below, and we'll catch you on the replay as well, because this is the thing. It's a two-way conversation. That's the beauty of it. And it's also important, again, for you to not only absorb the information that we shared with you, but really implement something, just one thing. And to help you with that, declare that in the comments. So then that way we can hear you, and you're also telling yourself, this is the one thing that I want to implement.
Right. Also, we are in the process of doing our series number 2, the
Season 2.
season 2. And so we're looking for what are people most interested in.
Yeah.
So it really helps us to help develop a better show that you're excited about, that is designed for you. That's why we're doing all this. So please let us know. We would love to hear it. If you wanted to send me a message, that's fine.
Yep.
But comments, we look at all those too.
Yeah,
So thank
feedback's important. We look at it as strengths and opportunities. And again, we're here for you guys. So that's why we do the live, and then we jump into the episode and then come back to the live here so that it's interactive. And, we're utilizing the technology. We're staying up to date / ahead of the curve, if you will. So that way you can be on this journey with us and explore and just have fun, because
Yes.
that's the beauty of it all.
And what's better on a Monday night than having a little beverage
With us.
and
I mean,
chit-chatting.
Come on.
So anyway, thank you again for being here. We have another great episode coming up next.
Up to date /
We will
ahead of the
see you
curve, if you
then.
will.